So the first principle of SMART goals, the S is specific. So you have to set a specific goal.
So we're not going, I want to lose weight, I want to lose 10 kilos, I want to be, 5 kilos lighter, or I want to grow muscles, I don't want to become stronger, I want to be able to lift 20 kilos more than my current best.
I want to have saved $5,000.
$5,000. So we've got to have...
you've got to have a specific number attached to your goal.
You've got to have a number, and we've got to make sure that that's something we can measure.
Well, specificity, I guess, provides clarity, doesn't it?
It does provide clarity.
This is exactly what I want.
This is exactly what I want
to do. If you don't know what you want directly, like specifically what you want, how can you ask for it?
Exactly.
How can you ask yourself for it?
Which is what you're doing. You're like, what do I need to do this thing?
So you're basically asking yourself, like, I want this thing from me.
Yeah.
What exactly do you want? If you don't know exactly what you want, you don't know what to ask for.
Yeah.
So yeah, you've got to get specific about your goals. You've got to say, I want exactly this. So M of SMART is measurable.
Yep.
Make sure you're setting measurable goals.
For sure. Make sure that you can weigh where you're at now and then weigh what you're going to be at the end. Make sure that it has a numeric value, so
and
you
along
can
the way.
And along the way, check the progress.
Mm-hmm.
So that way we can make sure that we're moving in the right direction. We can make sure, if halfway to our goal, our measurement's only a quarter of the way there, maybe we've got to change something. But we can check that instead of getting to the end of the period and going, well, we only got halfway. We could have known that a quarter of the way through when we hadn't moved, and we go, oh, we need to change strategy. This course isn't working. We've got to make sure that we can see our progress along the way and get G'd up about that. Use that as motivation to keep pushing.
I was going to say, does that measurability also keeps you pushing, doesn't it? Because it's by the fact that you're able to measure your progress each week or each month or whatever it might be.
Yep.
It's like, oh, I'm actually making progress. You feel like you're getting closer to your goal. If it's not measurable, you don't know if you've even moved from where you started.
Exactly, and you can't know if you succeed when you get to the end.
So if your goal is to say save $6,000 by the end of the year, you know that every month you have to have saved $500.
Yep.
So if you're getting to the end of the first month and you haven't saved $500, you know you're not on track for your goal. So you need to either reassess your goal or double down next month or whatever it might be. You can adjust. But if you just say, I want to save some money, like, you don't know each month whether you're on track or not.
No, you don't know what you need to do each month either.
And conversely, if you're 3 months in and you've saved $2,000, you're like, oh, hey, I'm actually ahead. This is going really well.
Yeah.
Which is obviously going to G you up. Or even if you're on track each month, you're saving the $500. You're like, yes, look, it's working. I'm getting closer. I'm getting closer. It's really key to not only, again, clarity and making sure you're heading towards your goal, but it's also a good motivator along the way.
All right, the next one's achievable.
So one of the other things that's important when you're setting goals is making sure it's an achievable and realistic goal. Say you earn $45,000 a year and you're like, I'm going to save $10,000 this year. It's like, well, that's 1/4 of your wage. Is that actually achievable on a weekly basis? Is that realistic? If it's not, like, maybe you need to just scale that down a bit and aim for a smaller target. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's not a, you're not good enough thing. It's not a, you're not worth that sort of goal. It's just like, you've just got to be realistic and make sure your goal is achievable to the point where you know you can do it. And maybe it does stretch you a little bit, maybe it pushes you, and maybe you're going to have to grow a little bit to achieve it, but it's within your reach. And the key to that, setting goals that are achievable, also means that you're going to be able to achieve it, which means next time you set a goal, you're going to have a lot more confidence going into it. If your goal is not that achievable and then you fail at it, you're going to be very disappointed, and then you're maybe not going to set any more goals.
Just to add a little bit to that, check the toolbox before we start. What do we have? What do we look like? And then how is it that I can use these current tools? Or maybe I need to go find a couple more tools to add to my toolbox, and then I can go and smash my goal. But if I've got to build a whole new shed, and stock it with all this other stuff, I'm not going to be able to achieve my goal in the short term if I've got to spend all that time, refreshing my tools.
Set 10 really fucking easy tasks, like things that you can do with your eyes closed. Or maybe not even 10, maybe just pick 2 or 3. I did this a few months ago. I said, every morning I'm going to drink a glass of water when I get out of bed before I have a coffee or breakfast or go to work or anything. Now you might think like, that's so easy, like why even set that as a goal? But to do that every single day consistently was fucking difficult. Some days I'd sleep in and be like, get up in a scramble and be late for work and be like, oh shit, just run out the door, grab my stuff and go. And then I forgot to drink my glass of water that day. Other days I'd get up and just go about my business in my half asleep state and just forget about it. But to do it consistently every single day was actually a challenge. The point is, setting really basic goals, if you can do them, that's going to build confidence, so then you can set a bit bigger of a task next time. If you just set out from the get-go trying to achieve big, lofty goals, well, it's good to aim high. You do need to build confidence in your own abilities before you can do that. Set small goals, knock them out of the park, then raise the bar a little bit, knock that out of the park, and slowly you'll begin to aim higher and higher and higher. But if you're starting out, definitely don't try and go for anything too lofty, because there's a good chance that you may not make it. And then what's going to happen is your confidence is going to die, and you're going to not want to set goals and achieve things anymore. So do it every day for a week, and you'll see how good you feel, because you've now programmed your brain to achieve goals. You've now programmed your brain to win. Fuck yeah. What's the next thing I can do?
Training that muscle, getting that muscle stronger.
That's right. Achievable goals is really, really paramount for a lot of psychological reasons.
Yep.
And also so you can achieve your goals.
Yeah.
Which then leads us on to the R in SMART goals, which is relevant. Setting relevant goals is important if you're trying to focus on something. Want to lose weight, for example. Setting relevant goals of going to the gym or eating better, not eating takeaway, whatever that might be, is a relevant goal in line with where you're trying to get to. If you're trying to lose weight and you're setting a goal of, I want to save $5,000 this year, it's not necessarily a bad goal. It's just maybe not relevant to the bigger picture of what your life is entailing and where you're trying to get to as a person or whatever. So people starting out, setting any goal is good, and knocking it, as I said, setting really simple goals, just knocking them out of the park is more important. But certainly if you've already got some momentum with goal setting and achieving, setting relevant goals just really helps you focus. Like, is this goal going to help me get to the next goal of where I want to be, or is this one taking me off track a bit?
Just helps to eliminate distraction and eliminates the randomness of your goals. I got a job and a relationship and a band and other interests and hobbies that I like to do. So maybe I can set one goal in each of those things, but I'm not setting a goal to go to the gym and lift massive weights, because I have no dream of being some big bodybuilder.
I guess that's not relevant to being in a band or your relationship.
Yeah.
Or your work.
If I just want to be healthy, I don't need to set goals to go and look like Arnold Schwarzenegger. I just need to do exercise which fits within the scope of becoming a healthier person.
It's about looking at the bigger picture and saying, is this going in the direction I want to go, or is this just doing something for the sake of doing it? Anyway, that leads us to our final letter, which is T. Time bound. Time bound goals are very critical.
When we set that deadline, it puts the pressure on. If we've got to save money by a certain time to buy a house, it's so we can get to that house by a certain time. If we're 70 years old, we don't have any benefit to get from that. If you want to buy a house in 10 years time, and we've got to save up, a 50 grand deposit, we need to get that 5 grand every year, and so we can break that down into that weekly thing.
Saying you want to save $5 grand by the end of the year, as an example, the fact that you say by the end of the year means then you can break that down into monthly checkups.
That too,
and weekly checkups. Every week I need to put away $100 to get to my 5 grand by the end of the year.
Well, that's it.
Every month I need to make sure there's $500 in the bank. Or $480, whatever it equates to. So,
and I think just to add,
having the time bound thing gives you steps along the way.
Yeah, maybe time bound isn't deadline, but it just puts things into a time perspective. So basically, we can say by this time in the future, and then break that down into each day or each week, each month, whatever the case may be. If we're going to work out 5 times a week, or we're going to save this much money each week, we can just really get crystal clear on what it is we need to do every single time in order to get to the goal by the end of the set period. That helps us stay disciplined during the process. If our goal is just to lose weight into the future, we're not really going to have to push ourselves to get there, I can skip a workout today, I can eat a chocolate bar today. And in 6 months time, when you've lost 2 kilos, are you really going to be satisfied with that result? Probably not. But if we can say in 6 months time we want to have lost 10 kilos, when we get to the 6 months we can have an honest conversation with ourselves and say, did we get here or not? And then we can move on from that. We can learn.
Checkpoint.
Yeah, it's a checkpoint. Okay, if we didn't work, why not? Maybe we did the wrong strategy, or maybe we didn't do it what we were meant to do. But at least we have that checkpoint where it's all right, stop, how are we doing, check what's going on, and then set a new target and off we go.
I think it also creates a sense of urgency.
It does.
It says, I want to lose weight by the end of March. I want to save money by the end of the year. It's like, shit, I better start moving today. Not, I can start that in a week, or I can start that in a month. It's like, no, I want to be there by then. I've got to start working now. So that also creates a bit of motivation and drive.
If we set up all these checkpoints throughout our life, we're going to take massive steps into the future. Once we can become aware of this, we don't even know what the potential is, really. Like, no one knows
It's
what the
limitless,
potential is
really.
for your life.
That's what I want to become, that next step. And then you get there, and then you set another goal, and you set another goal, and you set another goal.